It's 2026, bro. It's 2026 already, bro. Why are you still late? Upgrade to 2024.
Alright, I'll do it. Shut up. You happy?
Alright, got myself finally upgraded to FlightSim 2024. And I've got to say there's a lot of setting up to do. The initial load times were pretty fast, faster than 2020 for me. But the time it takes to load into the aircraft and actually start like flying and or maybe cold and dark, it takes quite a while. But generally the load time for me is pretty fast. Yeah, we're way too high. I think what we're gonna do is go around and do this again. Alright, let's turn on the bird and just do a little quick 360. There's quite a lot of settings that I want to change, but overall I got it running pretty well. I also have Chaseplane installed already, because I just know that I am going to want it eventually, so I just kinda installed it right away. And I have the A340, that is the one that I'm currently flying, and I have the Inibuilds A350 installed as well as the fly-by-wire A32NX. So those are the main planes that I fly. Alright, hand flying the Tolis A340 doesn't feel anything different because probably use a external flight model simulation thing. But the sky does look different. I noticed that right away. It looks brighter. The lightings look brighter and more saturated. And the frame rate wise, looks pretty similar to 2020. Although, I have to say that if I run FlightSim 2020 in DX12, I will get way worse frame than this. So probably it's an improvement if I want to use something like DLSS or something like that. Alright, we are lined up and we're a little bit high still, but much better than last time. Right, 2 rights, 2 wets. A little bit on the right side. The winds are from the left. Continue. Low.
400.
Alright, I'll disregard that. Too shallow. Yeah, too shallow. Come on.
300.
Keep the nose down.
200.
Okay, start looking at the end there. Is that great?
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Alright, that is a big float.
5.
Nice. Not too bad. Okay. Alright, for a first landing, I feel like that is fine. A little bit floaty at the end and a little bit too sensitive on the stick. So I may change that right now. Alright, second time around, this time I opted for the ILS to keep myself less busy while I talk. So far, everything looks pretty standard, but that name tag is right over where I want to see. So I wonder if I can change that right now. Show air traffic and lane plates. Take that off. Yep, that's it. Yeah, got it off. Alright, we're on the glide slope now. We are configured for landing. For some reason, the A340 internal lighting is just off. For some reason, I don't know why, but maybe I'll have to fix that later. Let's disconnect autopilot.
400.
Signs on. We're a little bit on the left side. Too shallow.
300. 200.
Alright, sync rate.
100. 50. 40. 30.
Is that a
20.
float?
Retard. 10, 5,
That is a float. Yeah, that is definitely a float. Okay, I don't know why, but I feel like the landing is a little bit more forgiving on the touchdown. Alright, let's do that again. Alright, third time around.
speed,
Let's do that again.
Speed, 500,
500. Let's continue this.
minimum,
Continue. Turn on the bird. And
400,
flight directors off. Alright, we're good.
300, 200,
Too low? No,
100,
a little bit too low.
50, 40,
There.
30, 20, retard, 10, 5,
Nice. Spoilers. And reverses green. Alright, this one is much better, but my eyes are looking at the wrong place. So I don't know, let's look at the replay. Alright, we are a little bit crapping and a little bit on the left side, but that's fine. Winds are from the left. Pretty much perfect touchdown, and after landing the crap. So that's where I messed up. Okay, that is very much broken. Well, alright, we have the Buluga XL. I always want to try to fly this aircraft, and it's only available in the FlightSim 2024. This is by the Inibuilds. So let's see how it goes. Integral lighting is working, but the floodlight is I just don't see it. Maybe it's the time of day. Maybe. Is it because of the time of day? If I change to nighttime, will the floodlight come back? Yes, they will. So the floodlights do work at night, but at daytime I just do not see it working. I mean, the lighting is very much different than 2020. And I kind of appreciate that because, you know, maybe that old system is not accurate. Generally, the lighting in 2024, I do like the lighting in 2024 more than the 2020. It looks more natural out of the box. Especially nighttime looks a ton better, but the lighting looks cooler and more magenta, if you know what I mean. Alright, so here we go in the Buluga XL at Hamburg, the Airbus facility. Plug and brake off. Let's go for 50% and one, and we're rolling. Right, man flags 58 SRS runway auto flush blue. Alright, Toga. Let's go Toga then. Alright, it's very sensitive ground handling. A little bit too sensitive, I think. Even rotate. And that god-awful audio from Inibuilds. I really don't like audios from Inibuilds. Alright, also, why is the engine so quiet? Oh wow, the night lighting is so good in 2024. I really like the way the lights look. And look at how it looks with the lighting. Yeah, that looks a ton better. The clouds are lit up from below. I can see the light part is here and then the darker part is up there. So that is accurate from the city lights. So that is what I really want in Microsoft FlightSim 2020, but finally did it in 2024. So maybe it'll be different from cruising altitude, but my main issue with flying at night in the airliner in Microsoft FlightSim 2020 is that the outside just looked pitch black, and the star night texture that they use or the skybox or whatever the hell they use, is just not high resolution enough for me to believe it. So it just breaks the immersion at night. So that's why I don't really like flying at night in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Okay, we're back. This time I'm gonna try to use this kind of flight record interface thing. Yeah, recording. So let's hope this works. We're gonna be using the RLS into the Airbus facility into Hamburg. Alright, Lockstar. So we're flying the Buluga XL, number 4 right here. Let's see how this goes. Also, you can see Hamburg International Airport very close by. So pretty much the same heading. If my voice sounds a little bit weird, that is because I'm still very sick. I wanted to make a long form video for my first time flying in 2024 before I upload any shots from Flight Sim 2024. So that's why I've been putting off recording for the past week and a half, because real life have been pretty busy for me. I've had a big concert that I've organized myself, but I'm back. Cabin's ready. Alright, I can see we're aligned with the runway pretty much dead on. Maybe this is a custom scenery from Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, because that looks quite a lot of detail. Or maybe I have the add-on from FlightSim.to, because I did look into that, because that is one of the stuff that I really want to explore is the Airbus Factory in Hamburg. So maybe I did install that. I have to double check. But right now, let's focus on the landing. Alright, I do really like this night lightings in 2024. That is one of the best thing I think about it compared to 2020. Alright, let's hand fly this. Hello? Autopilot off? No. Cannot do that. Let's press this myself. AP off. Cat 1. Alright, the flight directors is not very responsive. Okay, some gust.
400.
Land. I really don't like how this aircraft handles.
300.
At least compared to the
200.
Tolis. But it's fine, it feels like a freeware. Very floaty.
100. 50. 40. 30.
Right, that flare is way too much.
20. 10.
That sounds a lot worse than it actually is. Alright, we have spoilers and reversers are green. And the engines are so quiet. What the hell is that noise again? Alright, let's come to a complete stop on the runway. So there you have it, my very first look at Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, and it is a bit of a mixed bag, partially because I really need time to get used to the the UI and the new bindings and stuff. But one of the very much the strength of this sim is how it looks with the better lighting, especially at night. It really does look better than 2020 and in many ways, but overall the handling is pretty much the same, I would say. performance on my system is pretty much the same if you disregard the difference between DirectX 11 and DirectX 12. So if you count only DirectX 12 on my system, 2024 performs better. But if you only count the overall best performance that I can squeeze out of my computer, they are both pretty much the same. So in my opinion, if you have 2020, it is not necessary to upgrade to 2024 even in 2026. But it is a very nice to have. You have more freeware aircraft or included aircraft, and you have better support down the road with third-party developers and from Microsoft as well. So up to you to upgrade to 2024 or not. So yeah, that's it. That's my first look at Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys later. Bye.